Today we are taking a look at the GMWD LE08 2.0 leg extension leg curl machine. This machine promises commercial quality at a home gym price. We're going to run through the features, the specs, the usability, and decide, is this piece worth it for your home gym?
Massenomics.
All right, taking a look at the LE08 2.0 here. If you're like me, you might not know a ton about GMWD. Your experience with them just might be that they're a cheaper Amazon company, and that's really all that I knew until one day I'm minding my own business and I hop on Instagram and I see Matt Pendergraph had a really cool video showing off this leg curl, leg extension machine, and right away it caught my attention. I'm thinking, what is this? The way he shot it was really cool. It looked like an overbuilt machine. It looked really high quality. Do a little research into it and find out it is the GMWD LE08 2.0. And I thought, this looks like a great piece for a home gym. I'd love to know more about this. We reached out to GMWD and they were kind enough to send this unit over for review. And today we're gonna give you the full breakdown of what this machine is like. Taking a look at some of the specs of this piece, it's a really heavy built machine. It weighs about 250 pounds empty. And it's a mix of 3x3, 2x3, 2x2. It's kind of a mismatch of steel pieces. It's 12 gauge steel, so it is heavy duty as far as that goes. And what stood out to me is just when you look at some of the cheaper alternatives, this one really does feel like a much more overbuilt unit, just in the way that it's constructed, the weight of it, you know, just the stability. It's a lot different than some of the cheaper pieces you see out there on the market. One part of this machine that really caught my eye when I first started looking at it was the color. So you have this black base, but you have what I would call like a candy apple red on the arm and on the weight horn over there. And man, I don't say this about a lot of stuff, but that really pops when you look at this thing. You know, I'm a Massenomics guy. Black and red is what we're into, and this is a very cool red. I approve of that color. But they do have it in a black option as well if you're not into the flashiness of the candy apple. As far as the finish on the paint goes, there's a few nicks on it. Here you can see one. There's another one on this weight horn piece here. I mean, it doesn't really bug me a whole lot. Equipment's meant to be used, but just something to be aware of is that the finish isn't perfect on this thing. Looking at the overall footprint of this machine, on their website they listed it as 52 by 50, but we're home gym owners here. We measure things in horse stall mats. And I'll show you where this is typically sitting in my normal spot. And when it sits there, it basically fits on one horse stall mat. So when I'm actually using the machine, I keep it in this corner of my garage here. And you can see it fits pretty cleanly on one horse stall mat. You know, when you go into the prone position, the back comes down just a little bit, but as long as you got a free horse stall mat, you should mostly be okay. One other thing that I appreciate as far as a guy that is space constrained and always looking to save a little room is this weight horn right here. It does stick out, but when you're not using it, what I've been doing is I've been flipping this up, and that just gives you that little bit of extra room that actually does come in handy when you got people walking around, going through doors, kids running by. It's just one less thing to get caught on when you have it in your garage gym. Talking about the overall build of this piece, you can tell it's a lot more heavy duty compared to some of the budget options out there. I mean, the weight horn here, I think it's rated for like 500 pounds. You know, I can go up to this, I can stand on it. The machine's not moving anywhere. A lot of the cheaper ones, loading them up, just doing that, the machine might flip over, metal's gonna bend, and you don't get that feeling with this piece. If anything, the only spot you're really seeing much wobble is just in the seat, and it's a very minor amount, and that's just to account for that adjustment here. So, you know, when you want to make adjustments, it does move. And because of that, there's a little play, but nothing that I would actually knock it for. Adjustments are super quick with this machine. You have one pop pin on the back here. You pull that, and you're already in the prone position. And to go back up, you just pull it again, push it up. You're back doing leg extensions. That part's super easy. I've had no issues with it. And then also, depending on what version of this machine you're looking at, what review, how recent it is, they've made some adjustments to this back piece right here. So they've now introduced this height adjustable feature. So I keep it extended all the way. They say it goes for people up to 6'5". I am 6'1". I've had no issues with the height. But if you're on the shorter end of what they say, I believe it's like 5'3", you can pull this, extend it all the way out, and then that shortens up your distance on the seat here. So as far as that adjustment mechanism goes, I think it works pretty well. One thing to note when it comes to the installation process, these guide rails come pre-installed on this bracket, and I could not figure out with this machine. The seat was so wobbly, so loose, I almost couldn't even get it to stay in position. What I had to do is take it back apart, tighten up these rails that exist here. Once those were tightened, adjustments were smoother and just much more secure. Now, you know, if I'm wiggling this, there's a little play there, but when you're actually performing leg extensions and you're pushed into this, it's not really going anywhere. You're pretty locked in. So I think this mechanism actually works pretty well. One of the more interesting features of this machine is this adjustable weight horn. So you can adjust the load ratio on the weight that you're using through this. I have 50 pounds loaded up right now, and this is in the standard position. That's a 1-to-1 ratio. But with this, you can lift it up and move to that middle spot. There's a little groove there. The weight horn will sit down, and now you're at a 1.1 ratio. So your 50 pounds now feels like 55, and in the final position, you slide it down. Your 50 pounds is now at a 1.2 ratio, so your 50 is feeling like 60. And this not being a selectorized machine, I think it's a cool feature that lets you make quicker weight adjustments without having to load as many plates on or off. It's a cool little feature that I haven't really seen on a piece before. Now, if you spend any amount of time in the home gym space, I know what you're thinking. Tommy, what about the strength curve? How will I ever get strong on this accessory movement that I do once or twice a week if the strength curve isn't there? Well, I have a crude experiment that I'm gonna rig up for you, and we're gonna take a look at that strength curve. I got a little scale here, and I have what every gym owner should own, a pair of daisy chains right here. I'm just gonna rig this up, and we're gonna see if we can figure out what this thing weighs at the start of the movement. I'm just gonna hook this around here, give it a little pull, and we're set at the 60-pound setting. It's coming in at 61.3. So in my opinion, that's pretty accurate. And if you're saying, but that's the beginning of the movement, what about the top? What's the weight? We'll take a look there too. Top of the machine, that reading for me is coming in at 47.8 pounds. So it gets a little lighter at the top. You can decide, is that good or bad? I personally don't have any problem with it. Now, I'm no engineer, but if you're looking at the construction of this machine and how it's built, through some combination of this arm and this system here, it's able to achieve that heavy weight right off the beginning. And it also is what I think really contributes to the smoothness of the machine, is how that whole system works together. All right, that's enough on specs. I want to get into what it's actually like living with this thing and using it as part of your training program. I'm going to put some more weight on here. So I got this loaded up. 2 plates, that brings you to 90 pounds. We got it on the 1.2 ratio. That's gonna add about 18 more. So that should be about 108 pounds is what this feels like. And when we get into position, the first thing that I really like here is that there's a lot of adjustments to get this thing just right for you. You know, in that position, you're looking at more of your leg curl. But when you get this wedged all the way in there, I mean, it's pretty far behind me. I can even move this pad back more and really get my legs behind me. But man, I am wedged in tight. You know, there is a great stretch at the bottom of that. And once I start going, this thing is smooth. And just to kind of talk about strength levels here, you know, I competed in a powerlifting meet this summer. I squatted like 510 pounds. So I think I have fairly strong legs. And what I've noticed is that when it comes to this machine, 2 plates is typically where I'm at on leg extensions. The way I do leg extensions is as an accessory movement. Typically after I've done my heavy squats for the day, I'll come in, I'll hit some leg extensions towards the end of the workout, and I'm usually working in sets of anywhere from like 10 to 15 reps, like 3 sets or so. And so I'm not looking to like max out and go crazy on these things. I'm just looking at it as a good accessory, a good finisher on the day. And 2 plates feels pretty dang good, but you know what? Since we're here, maybe I should try one more. Maybe I'll try 3 plates and see what we got. We got 3 plates on. How does this thing hold up? Because that's one of my biggest critiques of the cheaper pieces out there, which are what people are gonna compare this to, is that none of the reviewers seem to load very much weight up on there. And to me, that's kind of a test of how well the machine is made and how much room you have to grow with it. So 3 plates on here. Yep, that's getting heavy. No doubt about it. Could I do a set of 10? Yeah, I think so. Am I gonna feel it at the end? Yeah, it's gonna be tough, but I just don't see myself going this heavy very often with this machine. When you're taking the plate off, you do have a weight storage on the back, which makes it a little easier to store these things. One thing I wanna try and highlight for you guys is once you're in this machine and you're using it is the stability of this pad. If you notice on a lot of the cheaper machines, once people get to the point of extension, you'll really start seeing the pad flexing and moving. This one, I don't really feel it. Now, I've looked back through the video and it might look like it's bending a little bit, but as far as the actual movement goes, it feels very even to me across. I'm trying to get this as a straight on angle so you guys can really see that, but as far as actually using the machine goes and how it feels even across. Now, I do have a complaint though with the pad, and it's minor, but I think this is one of the things that could make this machine a lot better, and that is the width of this. You have an extra 4 or 5 inches here. I think just adding a couple more to that pad would just improve the comfort and usability of the machine. You know, I'm in a position that feels natural for me, and you know, if you lift that up, I'm pretty much at the full width of this. And you know, I'm not the biggest guy, but if you are a little bigger, taller, you got a bigger frame, I can see how maybe you would have to change your positioning to the pad to make it work for you. So I think that's just one of those little things that a little more there would really help. And I tend to notice that a little more on the leg curl portion. For whatever reason, a little wider leg positioning feels natural to me there. So I have to remind myself when I'm doing leg curls to bring that in a little bit. One other thing to note back here, there's no bars in the way. I mean, there's a bar way back there, but there's nothing in the way. So you can get a super deep stretch, full range of motion without worrying about bottoming out. And you can really work your legs great that way. All right, we're gonna do a quick demo of the leg curl portion. Like I said, you pull this pin, you're down there, make the adjustments back here to this arm. Let's see, I'm about right there. Adjust this pad a little bit. And we are in position. Now, when it comes to leg curls, I personally like the feeling of my knees being off of the pad. You know, you could position this so you're all the way up here. I don't like my knees in the pad as much, so I tend to stay lower so my knees aren't on the pad. And from there, you're doing your curls, and not warmed up at all, so I'm feeling that, but it is a really smooth machine. And I really don't have any complaints on the leg curl portion. It works, it feels good. I guess it would be the thing I'd mentioned earlier about wanting that slightly wider pad. That would make things better, but the handles are sturdy. Also on the topic of handles, some people might look at this and say, handles? How the hell can you use a machine if there's no knurling on those handles? In this case, in my opinion, the handles aren't doing much. They're just keeping you in place. If they wanted to offer knurled handles, sure, fine. Would I pay more for it? No, I personally would not. So I don't knock a machine like this for not having knurled handles. Would it be cool? Maybe, but I don't think it's necessary by any means. Talking about the overall pad, it's a nice grippy vinyl. I actually really do like this pad. I have a Rep AB5200 sitting right over here. And overall, they're pretty similar in the overall feel and construction of them. I don't really think there's much they could change. I guess if anything, the one critique would be you have this giant GMWD logo on the backrest. Some people that's gonna be a turn off. They're not gonna want that. And you could probably get some type of cover or something to put over there and brand it for yourself. So it does scream GMWD. Whether you like that in your gym or not, that's up to you, but that could be an easy fix for you to change when it's in your actual gym. Some of you watching this might think, okay, Tommy, cool, but we actually want to see a big guy, a strong guy use this. You know, you're not extreme enough. We need someone that can really stress test this thing. I think I might know just the guy. Well, Bryce, what's happening, man?
Just visiting, just dropped in for a little stress test here.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, so we got the machine here. I figured, you know, people always want to know how strong these things are. Let's get a strong guy that I know. Bryce, how much can you lift?
My best squat is 775. My best deadlift is 775, so just a little bit.
Yeah, and how big are you? Because people are going to want to know, how big is this guy over here?
I'm like 6'6" and about 375, 380.
Okay, so he's pretty big. He's lifted a weight or two. That sounds like a good guy to stress test the unit here. All right, Bryce, we got you loaded up. What'd you say, 6'6"?
Yeah.
And I mean, you're fitting on this thing.
I'm fitting all right.
It's a little tight down there, but otherwise, you know, you're on the pad, man.
I'm on the pad.
It's doable. Okay, give us a few reps.
Oh, yeah, let's go.
Initial thoughts, what are we thinking?
Feels good, I think.
Yeah?
I mean, I'm not a big leg extension guy, but it feels pretty good.
All right, should we get some weight on this thing?
Yeah, let's do it.
We're at 5 plates here, Bryce.
Yeah, we're at 5 plates.
Does this feel like working weight for you?
Yeah, it feels like pretty good.
Do you think you would go much heavier than this?
No, I don't think I would.
Do you think many people would go much heavier than 5 plates?
Probably not. Should we?
We got the final level of the stress test on the extension. 6 plates.
We're horsing these.
Let's see it.
Now I feel it bending a little bit.
Is it bending a little? Let's
Maybe
get the visual on it. Let's see. Yeah, maybe a little.
Just a little, but
yeah. Still holding up pretty good.
Can we fit more?
That's probably good. I don't think anyone's repping out 6 plates a whole lot, would they?
No, probably not.
Okay, we gave it the leg extension test. Throw that bad boy into sport mode, Bryce. Oh, yeah.
See how easy that is?
Too easy. All right, you can see, Bryce, you're on this thing, man.
Yeah,
and
I'm fitting on the pad.
And it does fit on the back, if you can bring it down. It is on the back of your legs.
Yeah.
So it fits there. You can get all the way up to your butt with it. You know, I don't know. Are you a big machine guy?
Not really.
So there's probably not a ton of machines you use that fit you great, I would assume, right?
No, not usually.
Yeah. We need to know the big man review. Would this hold up to you in your gym?
I think it would.
You think so?
Yeah, I think seal of approval.
Okay.
Big man seal of approval.
There you have it, right there.
Yep.
Right from the horse's mouth.
Yes, the horse's mouth.
Oh, Bryce, wait. If someone wants to follow a tall drink of water like you, where can they find you at?
You can find me at Perfect Little Sweeties Gym on Instagram.
Follow him.
Okay, bye.
When you're talking home gym, space is always a premium. So with that comes multi-use. What else can this do besides leg extension, leg curl? And these next few things I show you, they're not perfect for it, but they can work if you want to look at that as an option. So one of those options would be a hip thrust or a barbell thrust alternative. You could also use it for split squats. The pad is super adjustable and works well for that. And if you want to do a little movement of your bench, you could also get your bench under there and try to use it for some seated calf raises. Now, none of these are perfect, but it is another way to add versatility to this piece. The final piece I want to talk about with this machine is the price, the value. Is it actually worth it? And this machine right now is retailing for like $1,000. Sometimes there's a sale for like $950, something like that. But what I think the challenge with this piece is what it's going to get compared to. You know, I had discussed earlier in the video, there are the cheaper options out there. There's a RitFit, GMWD themselves have cheaper options. There's a GMWD Makolo collab option. And those all exist in that $400 area, which is really cheap. And then when you get out of that ultra budget area, you're now looking at like 2,000 plus, 2,500 plus, 3,000 plus, and that's getting you into selectorized machines. And that's a big gap from 400 to 2,500, and this sits somewhat in the middle, but I think people are gonna be comparing it to those two, and that's what this machine is gonna have going against it. Is it's way more expensive than the budget machines, but it's way cheaper than the selectorized ones, and people they're not gonna be sure how to place it. You know, in my personal opinion, would I have spent $1,000 of my own money on this? If I really wanted a leg extension, leg curl machine, and I wanted to buy something new, I think this is a pretty good option. I really do think that the $1,000 is worth it on this machine. Now, if you're not looking at going that heavy, or you're just not doing a whole lot of leg curl, leg extension, maybe those $400 machines are the better option for you. You have to look at your strength levels, your use cases, and decide, you know, is that worth going cheaper there and saving the money for something else? Or is $1,000 the way to go? Or maybe you look at this and say, no, I only want plate loaded machines in my gym. Well, if that's the case, then this isn't the right one either. So it's not an easy decision. I do think for $1,000, this is a well-constructed piece. I also like to go through this mental thought exercise that if this thing had a rep sticker on the side, or if it said Rogue on it, I think for $1,000 people would be like, this thing's amazing. But because it's GMWD, people typically associate it with a cheaper brand. But I do think they did a really good job at making it worth that $1,000 standpoint. So ultimately in the end, is this worth it for your gym? You're gonna have to decide. Let me know in the comments though. Do you think this machine is worth it? Do you see yourself buying something like this? Or do you think the budget options are the way to go? Maybe you're a plate loader, or maybe you're a selectorized guy. Maybe that's the way to go. Let me know. I wanna know what you guys think of this. Until next time, make sure you're following everything Massenomics, pick up some merch, and we will see you guys later.